A thumbnail sketch is a really quick, small sketch that you create before you start on the final artwork.
Thumbnail sketches save me so much time. They're not supposed to be very complicated. They're very simple.
Lets you step back and think about the whole composition.
Explore all the options that are available. Anything is possible.
It's so easy to fix things at the thumbnail sketch stage.
I think a good rule of thumb is maybe around 5 to 6 thumbnails for people who are just starting out.
What's the problem here?
One composition to repeat 6 times. You want that selection. You want to find the best piece for your final image. They really should not be that detailed. You're just getting some general ideas down. You're not making a final piece.
My thumbnails look crappy, and you know what they should?
Composition is about the arrangement of space on your piece. Like, what is taking up the space, and how do you balance it out on the page?
Making the assumption that your first idea is the best one.
When you just do one and you're married to the idea, and the rest of your ideas are just throwaway ideas, that's a true waste of your time. Usually my thumbnails are palm size. It's really good to look at a composition when it's miniature. You can see all the big shapes.
The portrait on the left is a rectangle, and the one on the right is a square.
That completely changes your composition. You really need the same aspect ratio in your thumbnails and your final piece.
Students will take a sheet of paper and they just draw a grid, and then they fill in each of the squares.
That locks them into that grid, that locks them into that composition. Good to draw a rectangle and have space around your thumbnails.
There are a lot of industries where you have to have thumbnails. What is the New York Times going to ask you to send? The finished illustration or something else?
No, they're going to ask you for 5 or 6 ideas. And usually ideas mean thumbnails.
Now, this is a problem because this drawing has the image, but there's no lines at all.
A lot of composition is seeing how you play with edges, what goes off the page. And once you don't have that rectangle in your thumbnail, suddenly you're not sure. Does this glass of wine go off the page or does it stay on the page?
Draw literal rectangles, ones that are separate, so that you are really conscious of when is part of the face cropped.
The rectangle can be tweaked and moved and cropped and resized.
I don't want to redraw the same composition from scratch. Way faster for me just to take my pencil and just say, oh, I want to cut this off. I want to expand this. The first mark, it's actually the 5th mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's not the start of the piece. It's the start of the plan.
Corners and the edges, they participate in the composition.
I start with pencil. It's just a comfortable, easy, fast medium to use.
Sometimes it depends on the type of image. The way a linoleum block works, it's all flat shapes. I thought, oh, well, I'm just going to color this in with a Sharpie. Colored in one flat value and then did the yellow with a marker. I would start out by doing these gesture drawings in crayon, put them into Photoshop and flip them around. I could resize the figures. I could make some of them darker. I would print it out on a sheet of paper, and then I would draw with crayon on top of that.
Viewfinders really help you find the edges. You have a very physical thing that literally frames what you're seeing.
Play with it, I move around. It's not very practical to have to hold it and try to draw at the same time. It is a big leap to go from this crappy little pencil sketch to a full-out finish.
They also plan for value, light, and shadow in the thumbnails, and also color.